Master Ken here with another episode of Master Ken's Privates. Today we are out at the new location of 10th Planet Albuquerque with Nasty Nate Harris. For those of you who are perhaps new to the show, Nate, go ahead and talk about your rank, your training, and the new location.
I am a 10th Planet Blackbelt under the one and only Tate Fletcher, started in Santa Fe.
Tate's not here right now.
No.
You're not literally under, we're not under him.
No. I mean, he's at Comic-Con right now.
Okay, he's not on the roof. He's
not on the roof, no. He's downtown.
I'm just checking for self-defense reasons. You got to tell me if people are going to be up in the rafters. Why did you choose such a dangerous part of Albuquerque to relocate to?
We're actually in a very safe neighborhood, right off of I-40 on Eubank here in Albuquerque.
Are you wearing a black belt rash guard?
I am not currently wearing a ranked rash guard.
I assumed it was a belted rash guard. It's thicker down here.
No, actually, that was me eating a lot in 2022, and that's just a little added padding around the midsection. For sure, had nothing to do with eating my feelings.
Why did you choose white mats for the school?
Because that's all they had.
I assumed that it had something to do with the name of the school, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, because as you know, the name came from the moon. The moon is white and is referred to by NASA scientists as the 10th planet. Everybody knows that the moon is the 10th planet, so I assumed it was something, which is why they call school owners in the 10th planet system mooners, moony heads, moonheads. Yeah, we're going to be doing some techniques utilizing first the no gi and then the gi. I'm going to be talking about the advantages of fighting with a gi or fighting someone wearing a gi.
And then I'll show you how to fight without training wheels.
I'll show you how to fight if you're not at a nudist colony.
I'll show you how to fight if it's not the middle of winter.
I'll show you how to fight if you're not wrestling in a Turkish bathhouse.
I think that's a very common occurrence for most people.
They are dangerous places, for the record. There's one right down the street from here.
I mean, everybody who's seen a history of violence can tell you. All right, so my uke today is one of my blue belts, Noelle Cepeda. She's here with me today because starting February 4th, we're going to have a weekly women's only class here at 10th Planet Albuquerque. It's going to be every Saturday at noon. Having a women's only class gives women an opportunity to come in and just train with other women and get a nice introduction to jiu-jitsu. So I've got Noelle here. First, I'm gonna walk through, show the technique, and then I'm gonna have Noelle do it on me. So we're in our wrestling stance, right? We're here. Now, when we're wrestling, very common that your opponent is going to reach, right? Either they're going for a collar tie or they're testing the distance for their shot. They're not gonna reach for grips because we're no gi. As we're here, Noelle's gonna reach out, right? She's gonna test the distance. I'm gonna go wrist to wrist and pass this arm around, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna backhand, spin, and pass it to my other hand. Eastern Promises. Eastern Promises was the movie where Viggo Mortensen got into a fight naked in the bathhouse. Not a history of violence. Same actor, same director, but I got those confused. So after I pass it to my right hand, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to pull as hard as I can, and I'm gonna step. As I step, I'm also getting my hips close to her hips, okay? So she reaches, and I get behind her. The goal is to be on her back. From here, I'm gonna get a tight waist. I'm gonna cut this angle, okay? So when I'm on her back, I want my ear glued to her spine. I'm gonna gable grip, get my grip off to the side. From here, I'm gonna make sure that my forearm is right across her hip, and I'm just gonna pinch my elbow in, taking her down to the mat.
All right, so having seen Nasty Nate's nasty no-gi techniques, as always, I have a retort. Some people would call me retorted. What I have a problem with mainly is the issue of clothing, okay? Opponents tend to wear clothing. I don't know if you've noticed this. You are going to be at an advantage if you know how to use that clothing against them. Major advantage of knowing gi techniques so you can utilize clothing against your opponent. So I have a traditional jiu-jitsu gi. We're gonna have Meaghan just slide that on, okay? Okay, now look at all the advantages I have in this situation. For instance, if I don't want her to be able to punch me, it's like she doesn't even have hands now, okay? Look at that. If I wanted to train how to fight somebody with no hands, I'd have to find an amputee. Or I can just have my opponent wear a gi, and now I know no-handed techniques. When it comes to choking an opponent, I can do collar grabs, okay? You can do this to someone that has a jacket, someone that is wearing a business suit, even someone that's a furry, if you know what that is, someone who dresses up like a cartoon character for sexual purposes.
It's not always sexual.
It's not always sexual. That you could do this at Disneyland. If Minnie Mouse is getting out of hand, you reach up and grab her costume, you've got a double collar grab.
All right, so this next technique is from the butterfly guard position. So Noelle's on her knees. I've got my feet as hooks underneath her thighs, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lean up, I'm gonna grab a shoulder trap, and I'm gonna bring this in nice and tight, okay? I'm gonna bring my elbow up, pinching her arm in between my ear and my shoulder. Once I get this shoulder trap position, I've taken away this post. So from here, what I'm gonna do is just fall to my left hip, and I'm gonna elevate my right foot, taking her straight over into mount. And what's nice about the shoulder trap is I land with this arm trapped already. So I can go into attacks on the arm, or I can just take the mount position.
All right, so next response to the no-gi technique of the butterfly sweep. We're actually going to take the theory of the butterfly sweep and invert it, okay? A lot of jiu-jitsu people like to do inversions. In Ameridote, we don't just invert techniques, we invert ideas, okay? The butterfly comes from a cocoon, okay? Remember that when I show you this technique. Let's say that for some reason, I am grappling with this person and I do put my feet here in butterfly guard. What I want to do is actually grab the gi, pull it up over the head of my opponent, okay? Limiting her vision, okay? Then I want to take the sleeves and cross them over, essentially putting her in a cocoon, okay? Butterflies come from cocoons. I'm gonna put her back in the cocoon. So I'm gonna tie these together, okay, so that they're nice and tight. Now she can't even tell where I am. I can be all the way back here, out of striking distance. If she is disoriented enough, I can even take 1 foot out. She thinks we're still grappling. If she stays in the dark long enough, she might even fall asleep. She's in a cocoon. I'm in the winner's circle.
Since we are the 10th Planet School and we are doing 10th Planet technique, I would be remiss if I didn't showcase some of our rubber guard, okay? So, Noelle's gonna be in my full guard. She's gonna be framing on my hips, okay? First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my hips up and then drop them so I can get my hands underneath her forearms. After I do that, I'm going to do what I like to call the Molly Shannon superstar, okay? And so I'm going to bring her hands out as I bolt my knees to my chest, taking her hands off my body. As I do that, I'm gonna get to my hip and grab my own ankle, hugging my knee. And from here, we're in a position we call New York. I wanna get my foot on her hip. From New York, we're then going to go to a position called chill dog. I'm going to turn my palm away, lean back, slide my elbow over her head, and bring it back to facing me. I'm going to push her head away with my elbow, pulling my foot in front. I'm going to rotate it around to grab her neck, so that way she can't escape. Now, I'm gonna take this hand, I'm gonna gable grip. I'm then going to take this leg, I'm going to triangle my legs. And we're going to finish the go-go clinch.
All right, so my critique of that last series is that a lot of people are not flexible enough to do these things, number one. And number two, you want things to be much simpler in an actual self-defense situation. Your adrenaline is pumping, you want to focus on not fine motor skills, but gross motor skills. A lot of people find my motor skills to be very gross. So what I would do in that same situation, okay, again, using the clothing as an advantage, okay, I'm going to wrap it around the elbow. I'm going to take this part of the gi. I'm going to wrap it around behind, tie that. She's not going to be able to bring that arm forward. So now I just have this arm to deal with. I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to just sort of squeeze it, kind of like a tube of toothpaste. Okay? Imagine you're trying to get the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. Okay? I'm just going to squeeze that arm, okay, to the point where I'm going to squeeze the arm all the way out. Okay? Now I've got enough sleeve to wrap around the neck. We call this Iowa because she feels like she's in the middle of nowhere. Then I'm going to pull her head down. I'm going to grab one knee, extending the leg. This exposes the groin for a move we call the corn dog, okay? Stomping the corn dog. The way they make corn syrup in Iowa, they put a bunch of corn in the bottom of a pool and then they have people just walk on it. Kind of like the way they make wine. Anyway, in this case, making sure that I have a clear line of entry and of always re-stomping that groin. All right, that was another episode of Master Ken's Privates. I want to thank Nasty Nate for having us here today. I think we both know who won the debate. If people want to learn more about 10th Planet Albuquerque, they can.
Check it out on 10pabq.com. On Instagram, 10pabq, Facebook, facebook.com/10pabq. You can also follow me, Nasty Nate Harris, across all social media.
And if they want to follow you, they can.
At Meagpie on Instagram, MEAGHPIE, and all of my Linktree and other links are there.
And if they want to follow you, they can.
My Instagram is elasticgirl, it's ELLE_asticgirl_.
And as always, I'm Master Ken. Tune in next time for another episode of Master Ken's Privates. Thanks for watching our video. Remember, you can order your own personalized video message from me, Master Ken, by going to Cameo. So whether it's a happy birthday, or you want me to tell you, or your instructor, why your martial art is total bullshit, go to Cameo and order your video message today. And remember, always re-stomp that groin.